Hello and welcome back to the Creative Amplifiers. Thank you so much for being here. Happy second show in of our new year, and we're very sad to say that Robin, who was going to be our guest today, is sadly poorly. So you just have the three of us uninterrupted for the next 3 or 4 hours, and we've been diving into some ideas of what we may or may not do. But no, in all joking aside, we had a few different plans already in the works anyway. So we're going to sort of lean into various things that we can share with you from our experiences in recent times with our own shows and some sort of relatively insightful creative content, shall we say. Anyway, Neil, how are you? How's your week been? Not too windy so far? I know Saeed's already said that it's a bit windy from Germany here.
Blimey. It's been a bit weird, actually, the weather in Portugal. I know we love talking about the weather, but it's been like everywhere it seems to be at the moment, just some storm after storm, crazy winds, crazy rain, and then it stops, and it's sunny, and it's like 15 degrees Celsius. It's in the sort of high 50s, which is unusual for January. So it's warm, but wet, and yeah, a bit weird. So apart from that, I'm doing okay. Lots of editing, as we spoke about pre-show, but yeah, it's all good fun. Happy to be here.
Cool. And it's lovely to see you, Lisa, in your studio. So you must be at home. Things have died down a little bit around you in LA.
Yeah, we've had weather too. So it's been very, very rainy. And I actually had hail yesterday, which is crazy. And I was looking outside, and on the mountains in the distance, there's snow, which I don't see normally. So, get my skis out, I guess. I don't know, my snowboard.
Yeah. Everything you'd
get
expect.
a GoPro.
Yeah.
Get out there.
Well, that's March's show all sorted, so we'll be fine with enough content to GoPro and audio on the slopes of LA. Who would have thought anything else? The show could go in that sort of different direction. Amazing. Oh dear. Right then. So Neil, why don't you start us off? What are we going to be covering today? What are some of the things that you've been working on, and some interesting insights from the world of Portugal?
The interesting insights from Portugal. You threw me for a second there. I was like, what have I been working on? Right. So anybody joined my show yesterday? I've been trying to work out, first of all, what to do this year in 2025 from a social media perspective. So I've got some thoughts on that. And I wanted to really look at where I should be going in 2025 and where I should be publishing. And more importantly, do I have the time and energy to put into these social media platforms? And more importantly, where are the creators going? Where are they? Which platforms are they actually on anymore? So I'll talk to you a little bit about that later from my perspective, unless you want me to dig into it right now.
No. I think we should nicely set the scene for what we're going to be doing. I was recording it at live events, so I bought a couple of new microphones. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experience about doing that on the road, bearing in mind what I did last week, but also what it was like when I've been there in previous years and some of the kit that I needed as well. Marcus, thank you so much for being here. Lovely to see you. And Lisa, what's your specialist subject for today?
For today, I have a recipe. No, I'm kidding.
Yes, let's do it. Live cooking again.
No. I want to talk about doing the podcast I've been doing for my show, An Appetizing Life, and the variations I have been doing it in, whether it has been remote or people have shown up at my house and we've had to figure it out and do it that way. And just getting my guests prepared to look their best and feel their best on camera. So that's
fantastic. So Neil, why don't you start us off? Well, I know you've been wanting this for many, many weeks, but let me give you full screen and then you can take us away into the early evening.
All right. Thank you very much. And just let people know that there will be a quiz tonight, so stay tuned for that. We do have questions coming up and some teasers and things. So yeah, so basically, and I seem to be like stuttering today. I don't know what's going on with this Zoom thing, but let's just keep going. So I've been looking at which social platforms I should be focusing my attention on. And as you know, there's a ton of different social platforms out there that many people are participating in, and it's been a struggle for me, really, one, to get some focused attention on there, and two, to really try and build a community, an audience on these platforms. I've been on many of them for a number of years, but not really engaged, and obviously you only get out of these platforms what you put in from an energy perspective and time. And I just was looking at the different platforms that I am participating in and trying to work out really which ones I should whittle down. And so I just decided to create a little silly chart here of pros and cons for each of them, just based on sort of my experiences and so on. And I did set up an account on Blue Sky. Threads was an account that was automatically grandfathered in from Instagram. So as soon as as Threads came out, if you're a member of Instagram, you would get an account sorted there automatically. And then Twitter, I was originally on Twitter from when it first started, and it was a nice place to be back in the day. But I think all of them have their pros and cons now. And long story short, I've been sort of going through each one and trying to find one, where are fellow creators, where are people that I want to engage with? And really, the question I was posing myself is, what am I using social media for in the first place? Is it one, to try and gain customers, gain an audience, and try and help and support people through the types of workflows and video tutorials and services that I offer? Or is it to build a community, share stories, gain friendships and things like that? And some of these channels and social media platforms do that better than others, I think. And depending on what you're looking for, really, that's the focus I was trying to find in terms of which channel should be the best for me. So just real quick, looking at these sort of in no particular order, with Blue Sky, I threw myself into that and had a look, trying to find people on there. And I know a lot of people have migrated from X over to Blue Sky because it's a more safer place, if you like, and less politicized. But unfortunately, it seems to be very quiet. The supposedly 20 million people on Blue Sky already, but there's very little creators that I've found that are actually posting. They have accounts, but they don't really post much on Blue Sky. So for me, having tried it for about 6 or 7 weeks, I've decided that that's really not the place for me anymore. Twitter has the advantage of being able to go live. You can stream to Twitter, you can engage, have subscription services and things, but Twitter, unfortunately, or X, means now that you have to pay for these premium services. So just to be able to even go live on X, you have to pay, I think, a minimum of $9 a month. And that's something that I wasn't prepared to do. I tried, played around with it, but the engagement and the number of creators that are actually posting on X isn't sort of there anymore for me. So unfortunately, X has gone. Blue Sky has gone. So that really just leaves me with my favorite, which is YouTube, where I post all my content anyway. And I have a reasonable engagement on there, and I pride myself on trying to communicate and comment on every comment, good and bad, that's on YouTube. And Instagram I've been a part of for a long time, and Instagram's changed recently with its layout and things, and I've been talking to Lisa about some of those changes, which is quite fascinating. Instagram's trying to sort of really go after the TikTok market with its sort of vertical formatted layouts and things like that. And obviously with Instagram comes Threads, because you're automatically sort of connected to it. So in terms of cross-posting and other things like that, it made more sense for me to stick with Instagram and try and use Threads a little bit more proactively. There are people on Threads from a creator perspective that have obviously been on Instagram, and there seems to be a little bit more engagement on there. So Instagram and Threads are the ones that I'm going to be focusing on, in conjunction with, of course, LinkedIn from a professional brand and trying to get sort of clients and customers perspective. LinkedIn is going to be a service that I've been a member of for a long time, being in corporate IT in the professional world. So LinkedIn and YouTube are going to be the main focuses of cross-posting and working on that. And then with Instagram and Threads, we're building, friendships, communities, and other things. And the final thing that I've been working with is Substack, where I've moved my newsletter and podcast that I do on a sort of semi-regular basis over to Substack now, where I'm going to be posting more material and being able to host my podcast there. And Substack has recently introduced live streaming from the phone, so to get more engagement, interaction with your audience. So Substack, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and Threads. It seems like a lot, but you can cross-post to a number of those, and hopefully I can do some focusing and pay more attention to those. So that's what I've been up to, trying to work out what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. Oops, now I've gone into live stream mode. What's happening? Live demo,
and you're
pressing all the buttons.
There's a cross on your face.
I broke it. There you go. Well, that's not a bad thing.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Let me ask you a question. From a point of being intentional, have you set a time limit on some of these newer platforms you're going to dive into as to how long and how hard you're going to go in on them and what the frequency is going to be with those as far as
Yeah.
posting?
So, well,
I'm sorry.
I'm trying. Oh no, I'm trying. I'm trying. So every
Curious.
Sunday I do like a scheduled series of posts using Buffer as a scheduling tool, and that's specifically for if I'm going live on this show, on my other shows, and things like that. If I'm doing some things that are more sort of regular, and I know that they're at set times, I'll do scheduled posts to the channels that I've just spoke about, including YouTube communities where I can. So that's the first thing that I'll try and do on a sort of a regular basis every Sunday. I'll allocate around sort of an hour to an hour and a half to get that done. And then on a daily basis now, I'm going to be sort of being more intentional with, in the morning, maybe looking at the Facebook group for Ecamm to see if I can answer questions. And then I'll start to do some posting, excuse me, and looked at who's been commenting and trying to engage with good people on both LinkedIn and Threads. Instagram, I'll post things from a visual perspective when I've got something to show, but from more of a sort of a writing and engagement perspective, I'll try and do sort of at least an hour in the morning and maybe an hour later afternoon every day, but no more. You have to bind your time, I think, because as you know, you can get into the depths of these social platforms, and then before you know it, 2 or 3 hours have gone by because you've just been looking at incessant cat videos. Well, I do anyway. And then it all goes horribly wrong. So you have to be focused, have an intention to do that. It doesn't always work out because unfortunately with other commitments with client work and editing and sometimes I'll forget. But I think scheduling time, and what I've started to do actually is put these things that I want to do in my calendar. So they're not like a to-do list, but they're a block of time that I'm saying, well, I know in a couple of hours I'm going to actually start to do a little bit of scheduling. So I can stop what I'm doing without feeling too bad because it pops up as a calendar notification and I say, okay, now I'm just going to spend an hour on this. So that's how I've been trying to do it. I'll let you know in a couple of weeks how that's been working out, but that's the intention anyway.
And one more thing, I think something people should think about is what media are you comfortable with? Like if you don't like writing, then there's certain places you probably shouldn't be. You probably shouldn't be doing Substack, even though they're moving towards more live and some video. Threads started off more writing. So I think choosing that with intentionality as well as where your people are is important.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do like writing the odd thing. I'm not like a prolific writer. If I was just in the market as a content creator who just writes, then Substack would absolutely be the 100% platform that I'd be working on. But for me, like writing newsletters, quick tips, interesting bits and pieces. Well, I find it interesting. Maybe other people don't. But things that I'd like to post about, then that's why I'm using Substack. And I think you're right about Threads, where more of it's an engagement model. So trying to build like a relationship, a community where you're commenting on like-minded people's posts and just engaging with people. I think that's a nicer community than the 18-year-old life coaches that I get posted to me all the time on X, sorry. And, you know, X is one way politicized, and I find Blue Sky the opposite way now. So I think, as we've talked about, I think Threads is somewhere in the middle for now. But
not
obviously
selling
with
on
the changes.
Threads. Don't try to sell people on Threads.
No, exactly.
I think that's not this place.
That's not the place, exactly. And I think with Meta's reduction in fact checking now and removing that service, I don't know what's going to happen to Threads in the future. Is it going to become the Wild West? Is it going to become a free-for-all? Is it going to be flooded with stuff? I don't know. I think the people who've got fed up with X have gone to Blue Sky and tried to build something there. But I do see a lot of selling as well going on Blue Sky now. It seems to be more that. So I guess if your audience isn't on these platforms, though, there's no point.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, one of the things we spoke last week when we were chatting was the intentionality of what you're doing. And like you said, if you're trying to promote something, or it's a reminder you've got a live coming, or like say, all the interaction with other people's posts, which I think is incredibly important. But one of the things I've just started doing is to do more on LinkedIn, which is something which I think the people who really want to engage with what I'm doing on my show are really there. But also, one of the things that I think was it you, Lisa, who said, or was it maybe it was you, Neil, that about actually uploading an actual video rather than having a link to something else seems to be important on LinkedIn. So, from a workflow perspective, actually the putting my intro for my podcast together, actually having that as a separate file, which is what I was then uploading to LinkedIn. So it's only like a minute and a half. It's got some graphics, it's got some animation, it's got me sort of introducing my show as it's about to start, and then I just put a link to the whole episode then in the comments as well. I'm hoping that maybe I'll get the best of both worlds, and it's only sort of new to me doing it that way, but I definitely got more interaction in recent times doing that, because there was a real reason for people to see it. It wasn't overwhelming, they could understand what was going on, and then they can sort of take it from there. So that's sort of my intention, as well as, like I say, just the regular sort of commenting on other people's and being interested in what's going on.
Yeah.
I think LinkedIn for you is definitely the place, and LinkedIn is changing. I've heard, because I've watched a couple of sort of LinkedIn sort of gurus that are predicting what's happening with the changes of vertical video as well. So LinkedIn's trying to go all in on vertical video, on video in general at the moment, because they see it as a place where businesses can really sort of elevate their brand by showcasing what they do through the medium of video as opposed to the written word, because LinkedIn typically was post from a written post perspective. And I still love that. I still like the way that LinkedIn really pushes posts out, but LinkedIn also values and promotes interaction and community. So if you are commenting on other people's posts and engaging with that and actually sort of building relationships that way, then LinkedIn's going to favor you for that as well. So it's early days. I mean, I'm not a LinkedIn expert by any means and started to play more with LinkedIn, but I can see the benefits of it from a professional perspective. If you're wanting to build your brand and work more with educators, particularly in your area, then LinkedIn is definitely the place to be. You know, you're not going to get many people maybe in your arena sort of posting on X all the time. So again, you've got to go where your audience is and build that from there.
And I think right now, because everything is in flux, TikTok, this, that, and you're going to see an influx of people going from TikTok that are going to go all in on YouTube, or going to go, Substack just had a thing that they've got a lot of people coming from TikTok over there. So that's going to change how every platform is going to operate. So I think my whole thing is just stay flexible, like do your thing, do what you do well, but don't get so tied into that's the only way to do it. Because it is, I can guarantee you 3 months from now, they're all going to be different. And 3 months from then, it's going to be different, because we're just in this weird,
I'll be showing you a different graphic 3 months from now, but the same graphic. But like, no, I'm not doing Instagram anymore. I'm not doing Threads. YouTube I'm back on X. But you never know, right? You're absolutely right. It's the people that join those platforms that drive the messaging and the community and what people see from day to day. And we'll see. We'll see.
And how each one's going to monetize and change how they monetize, because that's happening too. Threads you can monetize on Threads if you have, it's, I don't know, 2,500 or something. I forget what it is, but that's got to be an adjustment, because all the TikTokers who are making money, they're going to want to keep making money, and they got to get them in there. So just, y'all stay flexible. That's my thought.
And just before we move on from the socials, as it were, Lisa, do you just want to just sort of tap into the change of Instagram and the sizing and that kind of thing? Because I know that's something which has happened
I think that's the two main things is the change. If you all have seen the change in the size, it's not square anymore. The 1080, it's now a different size. So is it 1080 by 1350, I believe. And if you're doing something else, you want to stretch it out to don't quote me, 1435, 1080 by 1435. If you're trying to make sure everything stays in, you want it to be centered. You can now, you could do this before, but it's easier to center if you're doing a reel, trying to do a reel cover, because sometimes if you just put it up there, then somebody's head's cut off or whatever. It looks weird. Yeah. So you can also do that. But one of the bigger things that they were talking about, and it hasn't rolled out completely yet, is Instagram Edit. And it's supposed to be some competition with CapCut, which we won't get into that. But anyway, but it's only on your phone. So it's not like CapCut has the desktop. So look for those things, start paying attention to, whenever they introduce something new, they want you to use it and all that madness. But yeah, you have to just resize. And I don't know if Canva has already changed their templates to the new size, or they just, because before they had Instagram feed, size the square. But you can just, it's in there to get the size you need through going through something else. So
Yeah, indeed.
I have a question for you, Lisa, real quick,
Yeah.
if I may. Has Instagram, is the carousels feature gone now, or is that still there?
Oh no, you want to use carousels. I say if you do two
Right.
things, use your carousels. Use them with music, mix them up, make them kind of multimedia. So you can have, just the written, but then throw in a video, because you can put a video in there. You can have more carousels. And also, that's the other thing, reels are 3 minutes now.
Yes.
You don't have to use all 3 minutes. If you don't stretch it out just because you have it. If you need it, use it. But that's another thing. So they really are trying to, fill in the gap for what may come with not having TikTok. We don't know what's happening. And I think you're going to see more things being introduced over the next few weeks too. Yeah. Not that I have inside info, but
No, watch the space, I guess. Yeah.
Exactly. Lisa has no inside info apart from the fact she always knows more than all me and Neil put together. So wherever she gets her info, it's from somewhere important.
I'm just making all this up.
Yeah. Exactly. No platform
Yeah.
likes you to lead people away. Absolutely. They want you to stay there and interact and to be part of it. That's really, really true.
Yeah.
And welcome for being, linking
Oh,
knows that
Eileen.
people want to repurpose content. How are you? Yeah, I think that really is true. That really is true. Marcus, LinkedIn, it's easier to stand out. And I think that I can't remember what the stat is now, but for the amount of people that are on LinkedIn, I think the people that are actually posting, and certainly the people doing video, bearing in mind this is what we're here doing, that really, really does sort of, there you are. That's how many people are really doing it.
Is that 5%?
Yeah.
Wow.
5% are actually posting. The rest are just lurkers.
Lurkers.
Wow.
Indeed.
So there's opportunity.
Yeah.
And ads are
Exactly.
coming to Threads. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
It is.
Ads.
It is.
Mm.
So
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that, but
we'll see. Yes, one of those people. Everyone's got an account when they wanted to see it, and then just no one's doing it. I haven't even got the account yet, but I know
Just
it's
to get your name, I think, more than anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was the purpose.
Yeah, that's it. It's Marcus. Wanted to try Threads. It wasn't available in Europe, and now he doesn't care anymore. That's not the attitude, Marcus. Get back in
You
there.
just get past it, Marcus. There you go.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
And just before we close the topic as well, really quick, I'd be really interested from the people in the chat. What's your platform of choice apart from YouTube? Where would you go to socially interact with people and find people? And I know from Miss Eileen, it's certainly not Blue Sky. So where will it
Exactly.
be? Let's find out.
Yeah, and just while they're replying from there, we should just say before we get too serious about anything that before we mentioned anything, the answers to the quiz were coming in as they were all starting.
Are you serious?
There, I like.
Goodness me.
Look at all this.
That is so funny.
Wow.
So,
I mean,
no,
if you, that's one way of getting ahead of George, right? By
just so you know, they're already at it.
That is funny.
Oh dear. So yeah. So let us know what's your platform of choice, and we'll bring that back in as well. So so Lisa, do you want to go next in terms of your setup for, like, say, for your new show? Because we had an interesting conversation about the fact that some of it's in person, some of it's remote, some of it's in person, but it kind of looks remote from the outside. So yeah, tell us about that.
Not by design, but you do what you got to do to get something recorded.
Indeed.
So yeah, I finally launched my podcast, and Appetizing Life, which focuses on women over 50, telling their stories and their second acts, and getting experts on to talk about just that time of life. And it's been a ton of fun. However, I originally thought, it's just going to be, a remote podcast, easy breezy, Ecamm, turn it on, be done with it. I have a few guests that they want to be in person. They're not comfortable either with the tech, or they don't feel like they're not going to be good on camera if someone's not there and they're really interacting. So that's happened to me a few times now. So I've had to make do at my house. I can't film in here. This room is very small. So I was trying to film out by my dining room, and every area has an issue. I cannot fix the sound out there. So thank you, Ophonic, for for helping me clean that up. But also the way the room is narrow I had two guests once with myself. The position of the cameras was crazy. So it really has become I use this word flexible already, but it was really a test of me being flexible in the moment of my guests are here, and I have to figure out how to create this so it looks like we're having an interview, together. And some of it looks like we're not in the same room, and that's okay, because I could sound treat and keep them okay there. And then I have a very long cable so I can switch while I'm getting myself filmed. And it's been, it's been interesting. I've learned a lot, and it's stuff I can help people with who want to do, video podcasts, because you don't know what you're going to come up against. I now have people who want me to come to their place of business. I have a woman who owns a spa who is, she started it after 50. So she's a great guest to interview for me. But she's like, I don't feel comfortable, not doing it virtually. Can you come here? So now, and we were talking about earlier about putting kits together, and Mark will talk about where he was and how he put together a compact pack kit to take interviews. I'm thinking down that road of, now not only am I having to do the podcast virtually, I may have to do it in person at my house, or I may have to take my show on the road and get what I need. So it's useful because I'm learning a lot, along the way. My suggestion is keep it simple. Don't try to do too much. My producer head wants to, get this shot and that shot and that shot. And sometimes you just can't do it. You got to simplify and step back and not be so ambitious, and keep it simple. And simple is usually best. So,
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, so in terms of keeping it simple, if you're doing a two-person remote podcast, is there a particular camera of choice that you would take to make it as easy as possible for you to not have any problems when you get on set? Because you got to think about batteries and all kinds of stuff, right?
To go out and about on the road, you mean? Take my show on the road? Yeah, I've actually been thinking about that. And I think I would probably shoot it with the Sony. I could seat us together, that'll be easy. So I can get that.
Oh, I see.
And we were talking about the new, not that I need another microphone, but if I'm going to be doing this, there's a new MV7i that Shure has out that I can connect another microphone to and do, not have to have something to run it through and get my audio right. Or, as Mark is going to talk about, I can get, one of the new Hollyland mics or whomever, because everybody's coming out with one, and do it that way. So there's options out there to make a small kit to go. I don't have it on my desk. I have the Osbots, which I could, if I wanted to, get a little, stand or two and put those there if I wanted to get a little fancier and get the other shots and then just record the ISO of the 3 shots. But then that's not necessarily being simple. That's me being fancy again. But it is a way to do it because they're small. So if I really wanted that, I could do it.
Yeah. And I think it's like battery life, ease of use, quick setup, and really you don't want to be spending an hour setting up when you've got guests waiting. You want to really sort of almost like plug and go.
Yeah.
So anything that you can do to minimize that. And I like the idea of the Obsbots, especially when they're bringing out the new Tail Air 2.
I saw that.
Which is very interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. I don't know that I need it, but I saw it. So.
No, it's
already pre-ordered.
Pro side, and it's already pre-ordered. Exactly. Get it now. Interesting. So I like that idea, but yeah, you'll have to let us know if you ever do that and behind the scenes and what kit you use, and let people know how to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
As Marcus said, he'd love to make an in-person podcast. Yeah, different vibe. It is very different, I think, when
Yeah.
you do that. And I really love what you said about the producer hat, because it's so easy to get into the tech. I could do this, I could do that. But I think, as we realised when we were doing Creator Camp TV, you know, there's like, what do you need? What do you want to try and do? And what gear have you got? And what's going to happen when you're there? You know, what's going to go
Yeah.
wrong? You know,
Yeah.
what could happen that you're not aware of? You know, whether it's interference or just a number of electrical outlets, or let alone internet, or
Yeah.
whatever. You know, you're just suddenly in all sorts of grey areas when you're going to someone else's place. Like you say, if you're going to a spa, who knows what's going to be there till you arrive?
It's true. And thankfully now there's technology that can clean things up, you know, that we didn't have a few years ago, which is helpful as far as sound and everything like that. But to your point, and we came pretty prepared to Creator Camp of having those things just in case all of a sudden that, you know, cam link stops working or whatever it is. Or, you know, I think we had some connection just didn't work.
Just didn't
and
work.
one of us
Yeah.
happened to have it, you know.
Another cable, yeah.
Yeah, so you have to have that emergency pack of just basics, you know, so you're not trying to run to the Home Depot or whatever to find something, or Best
Yes.
Buy
Yeah.
to find something fast. So you really have to plot it out if you are going to be doing remote podcasts. So
I do want to say one quick thing about Creator Camp. Just one thing I wasn't prepared for, and this is going to be a question for Mark once he talks about his setup, is the radio interference that we were getting when we were using the Rode mics. And we were trying to do a run and gun with the Rode mic, so, you know, Lisa would go down and have an interview with the people at Creator Camp, and it was just unusable, completely unusable. So we were saved on the day by Shure, who had their radio mics that weren't using the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi band that is very cluttered and very crowded. And we should have thought about it really when we had about 35 5G cards sat next to us, being the internet. We had the internet right next to us, so we're all fried at the same time. But no wonder the microphones didn't work. So that's something to consider, especially at big events. But yeah, I'm going to be interested to hear about Mark's adventures at his
indeed.
event.
Yeah, just say hi Matt. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate do that. Marcus there just saying, having one camera, one mic, it does the job. Then you can build additional things. That's true as well. And I think also the flip side of that is, if you've got more stuff of that already, keeping it simple for what you're doing, which kind of takes us into what I was going to talk about, which is my podcast started as an audio only podcast. It's still where the largest part of my audience is. I have now gone into recording it on video when it's normally sort of remote, and I'm live streaming and various things like that. So what I've sort of had to try and do is to kind of make sure that I don't lose the audio side and the people that are still listening on all those audio platforms. So I don't want to lose any of that. I don't want to sort of make that a secondary feature, because I've now started doing it on video as well. But at the same time, I want to make sure the video is as good as it can be as well. So last week I was invited to the Bet Show in London, and it's an education live event. I think there were 40,000 people there. Someone was telling me when I first got there over the 3 days. So it's a large sort of exhibition kind of vibe. I've been there before and recorded 2 or 3 times before, but I just remember it being a really long day, because I had 2 microphones, I had a Zoom recorder, I had my laptop, a bag full of stuff that I may or may not need. And then one of the biggest issues I had was the fact that I'd get up and speak to somebody and I'd hand over a microphone and they'd start by talking like this, and then it would just wander off and do all sorts of other things as well. So the actual editing in the end was really, really difficult. And I thought I'd covered my bases, because I thought I've got 2 dynamic mics. I'm recording into something on an SD card, so I've got control of it as much as I possibly can. But just carrying all that stuff around, when you've been there for like 6 or 7 hours, it's really, really tiring after a while, and you're still trying to keep the energy up and have as good a conversation at the end of the day as you are at the beginning. So I literally, when I used to go, like I said, the Zoom H5 recorder, I had 2 microphones, 2 lots of cables, my laptop, various other wires and bags and bits and pieces I thought I was going to do. Whereas this time, because I knew this was coming up, and various companies reached out and said, was I going to be there? And if I was, could I do an interview for them? So what I decided to do was, rather than have the video and the audio together, I thought I would go and do the audio podcast and actually do that as my main reason for being there. And I'd just use my phone and get some decent bits of clips that I could use from the video, and I'll put that together and put on the YouTube channel. So it'll be a different vibe. It won't be the same thing. I'll include the audio parts of it as well, but it won't be this is the same version of the audio version of the video, if that makes sense, which is more what I would do normally. So this is all I actually took with me when I went. So I literally just took my new Lark 2, and I'd got the new Interview Pro, the Rode Interview Pro, and that was the 2 microphones that I actually had. And the only things I took in my bag in the end was a light, just in case I needed one, which I didn't use in the end, and I had my battery pack, and I've got the 2 microphones and just some of the accessories that I needed, and a few cables, and that's all I needed in my bag, plus a large bottle of water, which is the other thing which I'd realised is something that you really need when you're going in. And that's all I needed to do. And what I was able to do then was just that kind of, I could actually control the audio with the Interview Pro. I could say exactly what I needed to do, and I was very specific about keeping hold of the microphone, so I could hold the microphone where it was. Like I say, with many thousands of people in a hall, there's a lot of background noise, and I knew that as long as I could actually keep the microphone close enough that it picked up a really good sound, I could take out some of that background noise if I needed to. It's got the 32-bit flow. I was never going to be in trouble at any point. I could probably rescue anything I needed to do, and it records straight onto the microphone, and it was just absolutely really, really amazing. And I just really, really enjoyed having that sort of flexibility, and I was literally just able to press record and away I went. And the number of people who were like, this is really easy now, isn't it? Or certainly with the little amount of kit that you need to be able to do it. And I thought, yeah, they were sort of really understanding how that works for them as well. So that was the main reason for getting the Interview Pro, and I'm really glad I did, because it's made all the difference, and I've got lots of plans to use that in the in a different way as well. But just to give you sort of a little idea in terms of what the event was like in terms of the actual sort of size of everything there. You can see you're gonna lots of the halls there, Adobe, lots of big companies there demonstrating a lot of their things as well. Coot was one of the big education companies that I was there to see as well. Some really interesting and fun bits of tech and various things. It's really interesting to do. It was an education thing, so obviously there's lots of things related to that as well. But you sort of get an idea of the sorts of people that are there, the sorts of sort of numbers that are there, and you can see the vastness of the Excel Centre in London. They have all manner of different things going through. But it was a great day and a really great event. But I just wanted to talk also about the fact that the other thing I wanted to do, because I was going to take my phone to capture some video, is decided for the Holyland Lark, mainly for 2 or 3 reasons. One was the fact that I'd had sort of the wireless mics on my mind for a while, and I'd gone DJI, I'd gone Rode, or maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that. And the Holyland, I know, Neil, you'd done a review on recently, and Tom Buck had done one as well. And one of the things I really liked about it was how small they were, and also the fact that they, New Year, they had a fantastic deal for the whole combo, which was really, really good as well. And I really enjoyed the sound quality. But one of the really silly things that I mentioned to you last week is the fact that they actually had like a sort of a necklace where you can just use the magnets just to put it onto your clothes. You can put then attach it to the necklace on a magnet as well, which seems like nothing. But actually, it really saved my bacon. Not only do they connect really, really well to the device, and when you just plug your phone in, it's all just seamless. But it takes away the fear factor of what was actually going to happen. So, for example, I did my interview with Kahoot, and just at the end, they said, "Oh, can we just demonstrate some stuff, and can you capture some footage as well?" So this is what I did. So all I had to do was to say, "Yeah, fine." I literally got my phone out, put the microphone onto the necklace to put around his neck, and he did it. And you can probably see it as they go through. I'll just show you a minute or two, just so you can see, and you can actually hear the quality of that sound as well.
Great. So maybe I'll start off with basically Katopia. So I mentioned this is the new class reward system that I think all the kids are really, really getting excited about. I'll give you a demo of it, but just to give you the kind of the primer, kids can play together in the class, they can play Kahoot. They can unlock basically different rewards. You can evolve the island, make it even bigger. You can add new objects onto the island. Over time, the more you play.
So you can see the microphone literally just round there. It was so easy to do. It connected without having to think about it. And when you're under the pressure and under the cosh a little bit, it's that kind of, this sort of happens slightly out of the blue. I was expecting it to be an audio only kind of recording. You suddenly wanted to do a little bit of video. And you can see how discreet the microphone is. And I think the audio comes across pretty well. And I can't tell you how loud it was with all those people there. And I think to be able to pick that up in that environment that easily, I just found really, really amazing. And it's been such an interesting thing for me because it's something I've sort of only just started to use in that sort of remote sense. Like I say, having sort of only just upgraded to some of those microphones as well. So yeah, it's been a fascinating experience, and having got them back and started to listen and work through and edit them things, there's going to be some really interesting things to be able to share. And I'm really glad I've had that opportunity to do it in a way I wouldn't have been able to have done, even just a few months ago before I got those things.
I mean, it sounded really great. And I love the fact that you can take that kit with you anywhere, and it's very, very lightweight. There's nothing worse than having to pack everything up. And then these events are long days, you're on your feet a lot, and you don't want to be carrying a ton of gear in your backpack all the time. So I think from that perspective, makes it super easy for you, and less things to worry about, getting lost and stuff like that. Yeah. And it sounded really good. And I love the way you can just pop that microphone over the top of the person that you're recording, and away you go. And that was recorded on your phone, wasn't it? So the audio was on your phone and the video on the phone at the same time. Yeah. Great.
Yeah, just made it really, really simple. And like you said, in terms of how sort of small and how easy it is, you can see here, that's the Holyland there. That's just my Stream Deck. It's absolutely tiny. And I'm sure many of you have seen it, but the actual microphones themselves, just literally as small as a coin. And then I think they're just, for the price and what they do, I just think they're absolutely incredible and just a really great value for money. And like you said before, it's what you want the job to be. I could get a better quality one maybe, but I would have been sort of having to attach microphones to people, or I would have had to have paired them, and under that sort of pressure, just the ease of use, I just thought was a really, really important factor, and certainly it seemed to work for me on the day. And like I say, doing what you need to at the time, I think that's the key thing, which is what we really need to do. Like I say, when time and everything's under a little bit of scrutiny and people are wanting your time and all that kind of thing, just to be able to come across professionally and just say, oh yeah, just do this and it'll work fine, which is exactly what happened. So yeah, really pleased about that.
Yeah, you definitely come across more professional with that because you're ready to go. You have the gear, and there's no sort of faffing around and so on. Did you find all the stickers that you get with them as well? The little smiley faces. You got a bunch of different stickers, which is cute. You'll have to get some education on fire stickers.
Yeah, you should.
Well, and put them on, because that was a really good thing. Because if you've got a black one, you can get black ones to cover up the logo. If you've got a white one, you can use the white ones, or you can go full on and, like say, have completely random coloured ones, which just kind of make the effort to be able to do that. So
not have a big road sticker right in front of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm curious, what was the battery life like?
Well, I mean, I used it all day,
right,
and the charger didn't even lose one of its charging lights.
Interesting.
So, and
it's very good.
And
that's excellent.
I think the microphone I had on me, I literally had on for the whole day. And,
Wow.
my phone wasn't on the whole time, so it wasn't connected all the time. But I literally just opened it up to record something, and then it was already paired in the way it went. So I really didn't even have to think about it. So if anything, it was my phone that needed the extra bit of charge, because doing the video and everything, and it being an older phone.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say, you don't have the MagSafe, the battery that you can slap on the back.
I've got an external anchor which I use, which sort of saved my bacon for various bits of extra charging that they've needed. So yeah, so that was really cool. And I will just show you this because this is quite fun. This is not exactly what Bet's for, but they sort of push the technology and they like to show a few different things as well. So this was quite a cool thing to see. Oh, fancy. Slightly easier to look after than a normal four-legged friend.
I just was not expecting that.
It's amazing. I mean, to be fair, most of it's
Fabulous.
about software and how we're integrated with children and learning, but sometimes you just want to see some cool stuff, and that was that was one of those things. And just wandering around, and it just sort of came out of nowhere, and obviously just doing a little demo, which was good fun.
Very nice.
Funny.
And you didn't have any interference or anything in that huge environment where there was, I guess, there was lots of other people recording stuff as well, you know, and all on Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff. You had no problems?
I mean, I guess that's true. But the great thing about the Interview Pro, of course, is that you're just recording straight onto the mic, so I didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
That was one of the good things about not streaming or trying to do anything live. The one thing that is ironic is it's like a big ed tech conference, and trying to get any internet there is absolutely really difficult because there's like 40,000 people all trying to use the free Wi-Fi or on 4 or 5G, and you can hardly do anything. And that's something I remember before. And it's not the fact that I wanted to stream, because I knew that wouldn't be the case. Any bits of video or live streaming I've done before, I've done outside, then to be able to bring it in. But it's making sure you know where all your information is. Because the one thing I've realized, and I didn't do it this time, and it nearly caught me out, is to actually write down the things you needed. So, for example, what stand I was going to interview someone on, what their names were, all that information. Because I suddenly went in and just clicked my Calendly, expecting everything to come up. Didn't have any Wi-Fi or couldn't connect to the internet, and so nothing would load, and it would go around. And I thought it's fine because I'll have all the details on my email. Click your email, and eventually it kind of works. But the trouble is, it's the fact that when you're suddenly thinking, oh, I've only got 5 minutes to get from one stand to another, and you've got to find the stand, and it's across a different hall. So yeah, the pen and paper route and actually being prepared to not need the internet is was one of those things as well. So yeah, but
So at least it prints everything out. There
Me
you go.
too.
yeah.
You never know.
Exactly. Matt, yeah, need a mic necklace. Yeah, you definitely do, Matt, especially for your selling stuff and that now. So you can be nice and decorated for what you're doing, as well as actually sounding good as well. So yeah,
Don't get it caught in your router though.
here we go. Look. He made 74 videos with the Lark Max, only recharged it twice. There you are.
There you go.
That's good tech. That's very good tech indeed. Brilliant. So, everyone watching, is there anything that you've been working on, anywhere that you've been recently where you've done anything remote, any particular bits of gear that have worked for you? I was interested, Neil, with your question about what camera you take for those remote things, because I think for me, more and more with the iPhones being so good, being able to just have that and a decent stand and, like I say, connecting to a wireless mic or whatever, this is going to be as good as you probably need, unless it's an in-studio setup.
Yeah, I think you can't beat. I mean, what I've seen, I don't have a Wi-Fi. I don't have an iPhone 16. I think I'm still on the 13 Pro, and I mean it's fine. But I've seen the quality of the 16. I think you have a 16, right, Lisa? So the quality of the camera is far better, I think.
Yeah.
And they're just getting so close now in terms of quality for the run and gun type shooting, particularly if you just got that mic and you plug and go.
Yeah, you can
don't
go
really need
do
anything else
what you
apart
need
from a
to do.
light, maybe. But I guess it's well lit in these areas as well, right? In these arenas.
Yeah, well, that's true. But then I did have my little newer light that I was able to take just on the off chance.
That one, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, I just thought, as it's so small and it's so there, and I could fit it onto the stand without any trouble, or just in case I needed it. Didn't think I would, but the opportunity just to, that was the one bit of extra gear maybe I didn't need, but thought I would just take on the off chance. But yeah, it's I just thought from the time I'd been a couple of years ago, when, like I said, I had literally a backpack full of stuff and breaking my back doing it, just to be able to pull out a microphone and away you go. That's really cool.
Nice.
I would say just.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. That's
What
the
is
one
he
he
doing?
owns. He uses everyone else's, which are sort of 14, 15, 16.
Yeah, exactly.
but
Yeah.
Just the one he's only
Yeah, the
prepared to
burner
pay
phone.
for. Yeah, burner phone, exactly. Just to go with those things. Oh, fantastic. Well, this has been fun. I've learned a lot from you guys. It's always good just to chat and hang out. Do you think we should maybe do a quiz while everyone's still here and engaging in our
Sure.
wonderful
Let's do it.
conversation?
Why not?
Okay, so if you've been paying attention to Ecamm in the last 2 or 3 weeks, you should be pretty safe with these questions. If you hadn't, then yeah, just go with a guess. Okay, so question number 1. Put A, B, C, or D in the chat, or you can write the whole thing if it makes life easier. Which January event in Orlando did Ecamm attend this month? Was it A, Podcast Movement, B, the podcast show, C, On Air Fest, D, Podfest? Let us know. A, B, C, or D. Side has gone quick. He's got in quick with C.
Ooh.
We've got Marcus coming in with D.
I'm laughing because it's hard to see my teleprompter, and it looks like on air feast
Well, it might have been
thought
that
it
as
said
well,
on
depending on my spelling going.
or feet.
Feet looks like feet from my. Yeah, I can't even reach my teleprompter.
Yeah, exactly. And I've got to get my prompter still, and you're not selling it to me sometimes, or maybe I just need better glasses.
I just need a different prescription.
Yeah.
That's all.
Lots of D's coming in. Of course, the actual answer was Podfest down in Orlando. So they had a fantastic thing. They seemed to have lots of podcast stands that they were doing to help people start and do their first one. So side the question. See, before he saw the question. Fair enough. I mean, however, that was still wrong.
Try and
It's okay.
preempt the next one then. Sally.
Yeah, exactly. Do I need to go back to the top of the chat where you will put your questions in first of all? But that's going to be So, but I think the first person,
winners.
the actual winner, I think was Marcus. He was the first person in.
Marcus moderator.
Does he still get the
you,
opportunity
Marcus.
to win as a moderator? I'm sure.
Of course.
He's game.
Why not?
Yeah, there we are.
Why not? Why not?
Aiming for
George
double
isn't here,
points.
That's why not.
Because George is
Yeah.
Is that it? So if you get the answer right before you know what the question is, you get double points. That's a good introduction.
There you
That's
go.
fair.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah. We'll just do some remote viewing. Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, then. So, question number 2.
Who has Doc recently visited to help create a new studio? Was it A, Katie Fox? Was it B, Ken and Glenn? Was it C, Liz Wilcox? Or D, Anna and Fulgens?
Yeah. A, B, C, or
Who is
D.
Why not?
I was just about
I'm
to
not
say
quite-
something and give the answer away, so I'm going to wait. Why not?
Indeed. I think I must have missed that first part of all those things. Da-da-da. So we've got a couple of answers coming in. We have Marcus saying C. We have Matt saying C. Saeed saying C. Lots of people saying C. And the answer, of
Watched it,
course,
yeah.
was... It was C, of course. Liz was there. Saeed, if you saw it, tell us what you thought. What did you sort of like the way they were doing it? They were also talking about, I think, what computer to buy as well as the change of the setup. And yeah, tell us what you thought
All
about
the
that.
snow.
Let us know. So, of
In
course,
Florida. What's that about?
exactly snowing. And it wasn't just a few flakes, was it? It was like full on. It was amazing.
No, it was
Yeah,
a
it's
full-on
snow. Yeah.
full-on snowfest.
So, well done, Marcus.
See.
You were right, and you were
Wow.
the first person. Congratulations.
Goodness me. Why not, Marcus? Why not?
Exactly. Okay. And finally, question number 3.
If I can read it. What is the name of the new Ecamm transition feature in the Ecamm beta or beta? Is it live motion? A, B, live transition? C, cool move? Or is it D, magic move?
Bader?
Beta, I don't know. Beta, beta,
Bader,
beta.
bader.
Beta.
Tomato, tomato.
I don't know.
Tomato. Oh,
What
my.
do we think? What do we think? Sai just likes to watch the studio builds. Great for inspiration. Indeed. It's amazing how much
Exactly.
you can pick up. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So we have Matt thinks it's A. Marcus thinks it's A. Any more for any more? Anyone else who's here? You are right, Marcus. Of course. It was live motion. That's 3 out of 3.
This is on a roll.
Yeah.
Well done, Marcus.
So
3 out of 3.
3 out of 3.
Do you get bonus points if you get a a triple win?
Yeah.
Triple win.
Does he get 2 wrenches as a moderator for doing that? Or is it
Triple wrench.
triple wrench? Oh dear, yes indeed. Oh, brilliant. So well done, Marcus.
Wow.
Congratulations for that. I really appreciate you all taking part and coming in for those things. So we should tell people a little bit about what they can do and how they can get involved, Neil.
Hey, let's do that. All right. So, as ever, you can get involved with us in 3 wonderful ways. First off, you can send us your behind the scenes photograph. If you are upscaling your studio, if you're doing a studio makeover, or if you've just got some stuff that you want to show us, like Mark has shown us tonight behind the scenes with his microphones and stuff, then send us your photos. We'll be interested to see what your studio looks like, what you've got in your setup and so on. You can also be our guest. We'd love to have you on our show. And the show is all about you, so we'd like you to tell us about your show, what do you do, how do you get into the creative space, what tools do you use, as well as Ecamm and other things like that. It's not always about Ecamm, so if you've got other tools that you want to talk about, then feel free and tell us all about that. And you can go to creativeamplifiers.live, and there's a button down there to be our guest, which will take you to a Calendly link to sign up. And if you do sign up, make sure you send us your bio, your guest photographs, you know, your best side that you take your photograph on, and make sure that you look all dandy and wonderful. And you can also scan the QR code and get involved with us that way as well. So send us your photograph, be a guest, tell us about your show, click on the QR code, go, go, go. See, I almost rhymed.
Dandy. I haven't heard that for a while. Be all dandy. Why not?
I don't know, why not? Because you can say those things.
Is that our new thing? Why not?
You can say those things on
Yeah,
your show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is what Marcus wants to win. Get some oil for his wrench. Fair enough. That
Oil
seems
for
like
his
a good
wrench.
idea.
Oh, squeaky. Interesting.
Oh, thank you, Matt. Appreciate that. Yeah. The working title for Live Motion, is that right? Was it Live Shift or something?
It was Live Shift originally, yes, and then they changed it mid-beta. And then everybody, now I get mixed up and call it Live Shift. Martin keeps referring it to as Magic Move, which is Keynote, which you can't say.
Right.
So yeah, it's all a bit confusing. So yeah, it's Live Motion.
I think I'm quite amazed that actually Live Motion wasn't available on something else already, because it sounds like something quite cool that would have been on a different platform or a different something anyway.
Probably.
But anyway, I'm glad they got it. Side has asked,
I
did you
did.
say click on the QR code?
I did. That have you not got one of those touch screens where you can just click on the QR code and it takes you? You haven't got the right technology, Saeed. Come and talk to me. We'll get you a new monitor.
Yeah. So it might not be
Click on
our
it,
show.
it's an iPad, right?
Yeah, it might be Neil's own show where we're going to talk
Oh,
about
dear.
phrasing and conversation and technical points of information and getting your point across in the right way. But yes, thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
funny.
Click on
We're,
that
we're not
QR
nervous
code.
enough about making sure our facts are correct in any particular shape or form. But
It's a new thing. You watch all the other YouTubers will be like, smash that like button, click on that
Click
QR
on.
code.
yeah, exactly. Put your finger through your monitor. It's all going to be fine. No, don't do that. No, don't do that.
Dear.
Oh dear.
Oh,
Right.
dear.
Well, I think we're done. We've managed to do that for an hour. Well done, team.
Wow.
We have a guest as well in 2 weeks. Let's not forget our guest.
Oh,
yes,
I do
yes, yes, yes.
apologise. Yes, indeed. Well remembered.
So next week, not next week, the week after next, sorry, in 2 weeks' time, we have Dina Dalig, who is a voiceover artist, and we met Dina at Creator Camp. So looking forward to having her on the show. It'll be fun, and yeah, we'll learn all about her creative journey as a voiceover artist. Wonderful.
So I think maybe one of the things we need to add to the show is I'm not going to tell you anything about what's going to happen. I'm just going to change scenes and just give you the option just to go with the flow with no idea what's
Wow.
going to happen and where it's going to come in. We do such a good job with it, so I like that. Fantastic. Scan the like button and smash the comment. There you go. That's exactly the way it needs
There
to
you
be.
go. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
That
I like
that works.
That's
Exactly.
better.
Yeah, and we had a great time with her at camp, so it's been
Yeah.
great to hear everything that she's that she's going to be doing as well. Fantastic. This has been fun. It's great to be back live. It's great to be able to chat about what we've been doing. And it's nice to be able to share what we're doing as well. As lovely as it is to interview people. And we do hope that Robin is going to feel better, and I'm sure she'll join us on another episode. But nice to be able to just free flow and chat about what we love and what we like. And hopefully it's been interesting and also a little bit helpful. I've certainly learned some things, which is why I hang out with these guys, because it's like they say, never be the smartest person in the room, and I'm definitely not. So thank you both for sharing all of your insights and everything as well. So I will say good night. Lisa, Neil, thank you very much indeed. Any wisdom or parting bits of information you'd like to do before we say goodbye?
I would just like to say that I hope that you found some of this information tonight useful. As Mark said, we've all learned stuff, and we can all learn from each other. And we all have our projects outside of our Creative Amplifiers team as well. We all have our sort of skills and specialists in various areas. So if there's any topics and subjects that you'd like us to cover in subsequent shows and things that you'd like to learn from us, then please drop us a comment in the show, or send us an email. Let us know what you are into and what you'd like to learn about, because we'd love to help you, we'd love to support you, and we're happy to do that with future stuff coming up.
Perfectly.
Yes.
Put. Lisa, goodbye. Anything you'd like to?
Goodbye.
That's it. That's all. It's all the wisdom you need from Lisa. Just,
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Stay safe and go create some fabulous content.
perfect.
Hey.
Click that QR code.
And click that QR code.
There it is. Go for it now. Smash, 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 smash.